back to the Lighten Up Show. Tonight, I have a special guest, and I want you to put your hands together for the filmmaker, Mr. Tim Kelly. Yeah, no, I'm excited about all the stuff you've been working on. You and I go way back, so, I thought about, I want to talk to Tim about all of his things that he's working on. I know that you've done a movie, Here Comes the Night, right? And we're going to take a look at a clip from that in just a couple of minutes. But let's talk a little bit about that, the whole experience of you making that film. Just tell me a little bit about that.
Well, from the time I was a young boy, I wanted to get into film. Initially, I wanted to get into theater. And living here, growing up here in Cayman, I always dreamt of traveling. So
Right.
I eventually went out to LA, and from there I started working on different sets, different movies, different movie sets, different TV sets. And I was just learning. I was learning as I went along. I started out here locally, working at CITN.
Right. Yeah, you and I did a play together, actually.
Right, I remember that.
At the Harquail.
I remember that. I was very nervous. I was very shy.
You did really good, though. Were you like a banker? What was it
I was
that
a
you
banker.
were doing?
I was like a ruthless banker.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like some Spanish nanny or something.
At that point, I thought you were really Spanish.
Yeah,
Accent was so good.
everybody thought I was. People would, when I actually didn't speak with the accent, they were disappointed. Which I don't know, that's good or bad. But it was interesting. But yeah, so then you actually went away. You were gone for how long in California then?
I was in LA for 7 years, and I just got back from New York. I was in New York for 2 years.
Okay.
When I was in LA, Ivan happened here in Cayman.
Right, yeah.
And I remember I took time off from work because I obviously couldn't concentrate on my work when all that stuff was happening here.
Right.
And I remember looking at the TV and feeling absolutely hopeless.
Yeah.
Helpless.
So is that when you kind of started thinking you want to come back home?
I wanted to come back home, and I started working on ideas for a script that I've been writing for the last 2 years.
Right.
I actually started shooting a film called Waking the Sea.
And think Brian Braggs is
in that, and then it's about a Caymanian who makes his way back. So it's somewhat semi.
Kind of your story.
A little bit, but I mean, there's a lot more depth to it. But the sentiment of missing Cayman and wanting to come back, and certain events happening, life changes, and there's certain things you can't do about it.
Right, right.
Those themes are in the film.
Well, that's really interesting because, when you're here, I think, or when you're just in a small place, people from small towns will say the same thing. You kind of feel like you're locked in, and you can't wait to get out.
Right.
And then you get out and you realize that there's such great things about being back in that small community where, everybody knows your name. It's like Cheers almost,
Absolutely.
So is that kind of your experience, and that's what this movie is about?
Yeah, I needed to get away because I think when you don't experience certain things in life, you make them bigger than they are.
Right, yeah.
So it's good to go out, whatever you want to do in life, you take a shot at it, you see what it's like, and then you don't live your life where you're frustrated and you're constantly wondering about what if?
What if? What if I had done this? And I think also it gives you the opportunity to realize that life is so much bigger than you anyway.
Absolutely.
And you're just a little matter in this whole thing. And live your dreams.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's pretty much what the film that I'm working on is about now, because the character, who is a Caymanian character, goes to New York, makes a great deal of money, becomes very successful, but there are events here in Cayman that are so much bigger than that he eventually has to come back home to deal with personal issues in his life.
Right. So have you finished writing that film?
I have one scene that I'm rewriting. I'm a part of a theater group in New York called Supporting Characters in Pelham.
Okay.
And we do reviews of the script, and it's a Caymanian movie, and I really want to take my time and not rush it.
Right.
So I'm going to do one more review of the script, and in about a month and a half, I'm going to start doing more auditions and try to do more casting. But so far it's a very small budget.
Right.
So it depends on
like
the
your
funding.
Pocket kind of budget.
Bit by bit. Absolutely.
I know how it feels. Yes, ladies. Very interesting. Sure. We want to go ahead and take a look at Here Comes the Night, right? So we're going to go ahead and watch that.
Absolutely.
lined up a buyer in Parma. Fat bags of cash are in the forecast.
All right, so that was really good. Now, what were you telling in that story there?
Well, that story is that's a fantasy story. But
Okay.
it's basically it's a heist film, but eventually it isn't. It opens up like a heist film, and eventually it becomes something else. It becomes one of these issues where all the characters are pursuing their fantasies,
Right.
and their fantasies don't lead to what they think it should lead up
And it
to.
has a surprise at the end, because I actually saw it. And Rita is in it. Brian has a part in it as
Brian has
well.
a small
So
part in
Rita
it.
Stavanovich, great actress, one of our own Canadian actresses.
Yeah,
She's in it. And I love that. I love the fact that you're using local talents, and and that's one of the things that I wanted to do also on Lighten Up. And I'm so glad you could join us,
I appreciate it.
on
Thank
the
you very
show.
much.
And
Happy to be here.
I wish you great things, Tim. Always good to see
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care.